Alright. We're going live here right now. We are actually live. And here we are. We're doing a rug. This will be my 6th rug. You can see what I'm going to be doing is the Pikachu here with the red ball, the Pokeball, with a gray, with Pikachu here and the ball. Okay, so step number 1, what we've got to do, we've got our image on our primary cloth. You're going to see my shadow here quite often. The primary cloth, which is nice and tight. This is actually projected by a projector, which is over here behind me. So rule number 1, what we have to do to this image here is we have to flip it in reverse. So right now he's facing, if he's looking at me, he's facing in this direction. So what I'm going to do is flip it so everything looks backwards. And then once that's done, I will be right back and you'll see exactly what I mean when I flip this image. Okay. Alright, so I'm going to take this, I'm going to flip the image, I'm going to save a copy of it, save it to my desktop so that it's easy to find. There we are. Now everything is reversed, and I just go up a little bit bigger. And that's probably too big. Let's see. What same size as I had it before. Let me try shrinking it down a little bit. Yeah, there we go. And we're going to try to move this more center screen. Right about there should do nicely. Let's see where my nails on top. Okay, that should do nicely. Okay. Alright. Now, next step that what we gotta do is you're probably gonna see my shadow on this here a little bit, but we're gonna trace it now that it's backwards and flipped. I got my Sharpie. I'm just using a regular black Sharpie, and I'm going to begin tracing. Alright, so this is how it's done. So we're just going to take it and we're going to go right along here, and as you're going to be right along with me as I'm tracing. This is going to be a thicker black line, so we're going to indicate it as such so that we know thicker lines from thinner lines. And then kind of the thicker lines I'll color in a little bit so that I know what's what. And then what we'll do is just continue on tracing this image, and this will take probably a little bit of time. It's actually not that bad if you get a steady hand, which I've got a pretty steady hand, so I can move along at a decent pace. Okay, so now we've got kind of his tail done, and we're gonna kind of squiggle that. So And we also, what we have to do is when we get these, we have to indicate the colors. So you can see that this color is a little bit different than this color, and this is red and pink, and so on and so forth. So, okay, all right. Now, draw his hand. It's kind of neat because everything just goes right together. And then I have all of the colors for this, so set aside, so we're good to go. Do his eye. We're gonna kind of color that in so we know obviously everything is black there, and then that will just be white. And then black here. Again, we'll color that in. Anything that's usually black. Sometimes it's even better to have an assortment of colors so that you can kind of color it in as you go along, but it's not necessary. And okay, he's coming along, he's getting there. A lot of times you'll have to find that what you have to do is go back over it with a light, because you'll find you missed the spot, and it's pretty common. I've done it before. You know, you miss a small line or here or there. Again, this is all black, so we're gonna kind of put black there. Okay. And work here, such. Boom. Pokeball, to the side of the Pokeball here. Draw a line here. That's gray. These are grays here. Okay, so I'm actually going to take a quick 5-second break, because if I don't, my projector times out and then it will go to a blue screen. So if I go and at least wiggle the mouse just temporarily quickly, then I don't usually have a problem. But that's what we're gonna do so we don't have to stop. So anyways, that, and I can also check over what I've done. Alright, okay, I'm back. That was easy enough. Okay. Alright, now doing the thicker lines on the ball. And we got a darker color here. A dark gray. I wouldn't say it's quite black, but we could probably get away with black. Alright, So we're kind of seeing how it's coming along. So we got a nose, we gotta get the nose. And we're gonna do the mouth. Okay. Take your time, and you don't have to rush. No rush on it. You rush and then you end up making a mistake. But the mistakes are generally fixable. Okay. So we've got 3 shades of red there. And we got pink, red, darker red. And then we got a little bit of a shade here that we're gonna do. We've got the shade there. Okay, and then we're gonna try and get his feet down in this area. Get those claws that he's got. Getting there. And boom. Okay. Once it's traced, we also got to know that we have a darker color here, like a mustard color at the bottom by his feet. This is all a different color, so we're gonna mustard color. Also have like a mustard color there underneath his armpit. Okay. And then once we get done, we can snap the light on, see how he looks. Once we see how he looks, we can obviously at that point get our yarn out and begin to go to work. Alright, so far I didn't miss anything there. Let's see, yep, I missed the line here. Filled in. These are all filled in. Okay. Oh, got that mustard color here. Gray. Okay. That looks all good so far. So good. And this is yellow. Red. Red as well. Obviously I know that that's going to be white. Okay. Almost done. Almost done. Just gotta do a couple touch-ups here and go around this ball. Make sure I finally get the whole loop around. And this is gonna actually be a thicker band because it's bigger part of the ball here, so you're gonna probably see my shadow here in just a minute. so I know what I've got going on. Okay. This is all going to be white. And it's important that this fabric stays like drum tight. Any looseness in it and it's not going to work. It has to be like a snare drum. It has to be like drum tight. That's why it's pretty easy for me to. So we're going to label that white. And then we're going to continue going around on our band here at the top of the ball. Once we get around all the way, I think that'll be the end of this whole actual design. And then what I'm going to do is, I don't just stop at the end of here. What I do is I'll put a white border all the way around, and then I'll cut it out. And then make that into the rug. So that will be the rug itself here, and then I'll have a border. So, you know what we got to do? A couple of other details. We've got a mustard color here. And then we've got a mustard color here. Mustard color, and then we got yellow. Okay, gray. And you can't see these markings on here. White. 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 This is going to be white as well. Red. White. White. Gray. Okay. It's all gray and mustard color red. Okay. So I've got all my colors labeled, yellow, mustard, and then I think that's going to be a light gray. Light gray. So we're going to use that as a light gray, dark gray. Dark gray, dark. Okay. Alright, so now we have the Pikachu here, and then mustard color here. Just making sure everything is labeled before I start snapping off the lights here. And black. So now what we can do is turn the light on, and then we can actually see the whole image itself. And then, like I said, I'm going to put a 1-inch white border all the way around the entire diameter of this here as like a border for the carpet itself. So this is the carpet initially with a white border around it, kind of not like square, but it'll fit the shape of the image here. So why don't we turn the light on real quick and then see what we've got for an image. And then okay. And then we're gonna shut the projector off. kill the projector because we don't need it anymore. Alright, so there's the image. Kind of looks a little bit messy, but straightforward. Once all that color comes in, it'll look a heck of a lot better. So that's what we're looking at now. You have like the white ball, this will all be white yarn, red yarn, bless you! The yellow, the mustard colors, the dark gray, white, black for the eyes. Like I said, I color everything in that's black. I usually just color it in so it doesn't confuse me. And then it just makes for that much more simpler. Okay, perfect. Alright, I have all the colors, so tomorrow we'll continue this, and then we will be doing, we don't need the light, we don't need anything else because we've got everything as it is as far as colors that we need, so we just get the colors out, and then I will be doing another live stream on the actual making of the rug itself. So alright, this is a done video for this evening on the live stream of basically how to draw your image. But always remember, I have done it before and I've done it a couple of times, and still you have to label everything. Label it on your computer, label it on your projector, put a sticker on your forehead, flip your image, okay? Especially if you're dealing with words, because you flip it, it's not going to come out right. So we're going to do this tomorrow. We're going to get it colored in, and we're going to do a live video on making this color and this image come to life and become a rug for somebody. Anybody wants it? I know it looks a little funny now, but once it starts getting into color, it'll look nice. So anyone wants it, speak now. It's gonna look good. I'm gonna make probably another one after this one tomorrow. Alrighty, so I'm gonna kill this live stream and call it a night. Have a good night, and don't forget to like this, and you can also follow me on YouTube. Or no, yeah, no, yes, I have also another Facebook page called 802 Custom Rugs. You can find me there, follow me there. You can follow me on YouTube. I will try to get a link and everything in the description for you once this is all done. But we will see you tomorrow to get this done. So hours of timeline of doing this rug that I just did. Now comes the fun part of getting to clean all this lovely pieces of yarn scattered from here all over the place. As you can see, it's everywhere, everywhere. All assortment of colors. Yep. And here is what we're going to be looking at on the back side. This is the next rug that we're doing, Pikachu with a Pokeball. And this is going to be on the other side. It's not finished yet, but you can kind of gather what it's gonna look like. That is not pink, by the way. It is bright red. It just shows up pink, but maybe not. Maybe it's just in my camera. But we're gonna get a better look at this once we get it all glued and ready to go. All right, and we're gonna shut this off.